everybody. Welcome back to Board Game Buzz today. My name is Carly.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're doing another Buzz Chat episode. Woo woo! I love Buzz Chat episodes.
Yeah.
We don't do them nearly enough. We need to do more. But so today, what I wanted to kind of focus on or do a Buzz Chat episode on, I kind of wanted to chat a little bit about how we go about rating our games.
Yes.
And the reason why I wanted to do this is because we are a fairly new channel, and every channel I feel like kind of does things slightly differently. Just kind of like right off the top of my head, like Alex from Board Game Co., he rates on a 1 to 5 scale instead of a 1 to 10 scale. And then like Thinker Themer, Amy and Maggie, they do like 7.8 or 6.1, or like they're kind of more like what's the word? Like precise?
Yeah.
Kind of more like precise with their ratings. And so I kind of just wanted to chat about what our ratings kind of mean to us, just to kind of have that clarification on the channel, and so people can kind of come back to this video if they need to kind of get the clarifications on what our ratings mean. I think that's kind of an important thing to chat about, considering that we are reviewers. Yeah. It should be clear about what our reviews, like what our numbers are, in my personal opinion. So
yeah, and whenever like Carly and I are going into like a review video, we always kind of have this conversation between ourselves and general, like talking about how we come to that like review and what that number means for us and whatnot. And it's just like, yeah, that should be important information, not just for us to share between ourselves, but for the people who are actually engaging with the content.
Yes.
And
kind of be a little more transparent with just what the numbers mean. And I also kind of want to nail down a little bit more what certain numbers mean, because I feel like before in like some previous reviews I've done, I feel like some reviews have kind of been a little bit more wishy-washy in regards to the numbers. So I want to like really nail down what these numbers mean, so moving forward we'll just be more concrete. And like, you know, like we know I feel this way about the game, that means it's this number.
Yes.
You know,
been there, done that, and like, well
and it's hard.
And this, I don't know. Like,
it's hard because we play so many games, and I feel like lots of times, or I guess not lots of times, but there definitely are times where I play a game and I kind of feel like this about it. Like I do like it, but there's also stuff that I'm like okay on, or maybe a couple things that I actually don't like about it. Yeah. So what is that? It's hard. It's a lot harder than you would think to like come to a solid number on so many different games.
Yeah, like starting to compare it to like other games that you enjoy or have played, or where it falls into that scale of them, and like I rated this game that before, but like, wait, I think I would give it this number, but do I actually like this game more than I like that other game? And it's just like, it's so, It's
hard, and it's hard also because as we continue to play games, we try our best to like play games, you know, a decent amount to get a really good kind of well-rounded thought on the games that we review.
Like playing it at a lower player count, playing it at a higher player count, playing it with our kids, playing it with each other.
Playing it multiple times. But having said all that, there are games that, you know, you play a handful of years down the road and you're like, oh, I don't like that as much as I thought I did. Or
Ticket to Ride.
Yeah. Sorry. Or, oh, I actually like that a lot more. So I feel like your thoughts and opinions are always changing, which also makes it hard.
Well, and then who you're playing the game with, too.
That is actually the main thing and the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Do we rate games based on the game or based on the play of it?
Yeah.
Because there are games that you play and you have just a wonderful time around the table. It's so much fun. You're just loving it. You're like, this game is amazing. And then you break it out with a different group and it's like a completely different vibe. And I feel like your excitement level or your enjoyment of the level goes down. It's like such a hard thing to like come to terms to. But I do think that plays of the game influence the game a lot, if that makes any sense. Or it influences your opinion of games. If you have a wonderful time with a game versus a terrible time with and it's the same game.
Well, like it kind of makes you realize, like, oh, maybe this game isn't as like versatile or as amazing as I initially thought, because if they're not enjoying themselves playing, or it like makes, like one game that I'm thinking of specifically is Evolution. I have played that game with people where it's a lot of fun and we just have like a grand time playing it, but then I've also played it where like it doesn't feel as fun because not everyone like enjoyed playing it or didn't like the aspect of like carnivores coming and attacking you and like eating your species.
So it's hard reviewing games when I feel like the reason, like, well, not the reason.
Yeah.
There's lots of reasons why I've loved having Kim on the channel. Many reasons. But one of like the primary reasons why I've loved having you on the channel is because it's so great to be able to sit down with you, because I kind of have like that baseline. I'm trying to think about what it's called. You know, like in math, like when you do like mathematical equations, and it's like you need like a neutral, what is it called? Do you get what I'm saying?
No. Variable?
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. Like, it's nice because I can sit down and play a game with you, and I know that you just, like, you're able to approach it with the mindset of a reviewer. You're able to, like, kind of see the game for what it is, even if you don't like a game, or if a game isn't for you, you're able to see, you know, what is still good about it or what other people could potentially like about it. You just like, you have that reviewer mindset, which as reviewers, we have to go into games with that. We have every single game. And I really try my best to, like, even if I really didn't like a game, try to find the good in it. Try to find what people could like about this, even if it didn't work for me.
Our personal feelings, like hopefully that like might mean something to you, because if you can relate to us and you feel like I have a similar kind of like enjoyment level, or like I vibe, you like vibe with Carly, or you vibe with me, or whoever you vibe with, and we give you like, yeah, this is a 10 or this is a 7, and you know, you kind of like feel that board game soulmate connection. Like you're like, okay, then I would probably feel that way too. But it's like, so that's why it is important to be like, well, people who like these kind of mechanisms might like this game, and if you don't like those mechanisms, you're not gonna like this game. Even if I think like this is fantastic, someone else might. And as like hard as it's for me to admit, like Race for the Galaxy, that's not everybody's game. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
I'm surprised you just said those words right there.
I'm like, a little nervous. Like, but it's just so. I just like have noticed that like our numbers, they mean something to us, and like hopefully they can mean something to you. We're here to give you our review, give you our rating, let you know what those numbers mean to us individually, and then obviously do your research and take it for what it is.
So do you think that, oh hi.
You want to talk
to Kim?
Okay. What's up, buddy?
I had a bad dream because I have a minion dream.
You had a minion dream?
Yeah.
Oh no, what happened?
Bad dream, huh?
Yeah, I went
I
went downstairs and the minions got me.
The minions got you?
Yeah.
Like the minions in from the movie, or like a different kind of minion?
A few moments later.
Okay, so Beckham woke up. So Beckham's joining us
Hi,
for the rest
baby.
of our buzz chat today. Huh. Oh, let go over there. There we go. So how do you go about rating when you sit down, when we sit down to like rate a game? How, like, do you have like a certain method that you use in regards to rating games, or like how do you like come up with a number?
So I'm thinking about theme. I'm thinking about the enjoyment level of it, like for personal, like my personal enjoyment level of it, and then I'm thinking about my enjoyment level of who I'm playing it with around the table. So like those things factor into like how I come up with rating a game. Ease of play is something that like I think about. So like I might, I guess for me, if it's gonna be like a complex, like a heavyweight game that takes a lot of like time and understanding to learn, it better be amazing. Like if I am investing,
You gotta have that payoff.
Yeah, you have that payoff. It better be amazing. So it's gonna be harder for me to, I think, come up with like, actually, if I think about like heavyweight games that are gonna be like 10 out of 10, because like if I'm, like Nemesis, for instance, spending hours reading through those rules and finally like getting it out to the table, like it took a long time to learn and play, but like, man, it was worth it. Or even just when we did Flow, like I was thinking of, like I keep thinking about the game. I'm like, I told Carly, I'm like, I think I would actually give that game a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think I would. I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's what I keep thinking about it too. yeah, it's just one that I keep like, okay, I actually really like that.
Yeah, and it was like, so like for that one, because like I have goosebumps. Like initially after playing it, I'm like, because it took us a long time to like learn and puzzle through, but at the end it was just like, it was so satisfying and fun. A game that I think is an easy like 7 is Wingspan, which I know some people would give that game a higher rating. For me, Wingspan is a 7. And 7 is something that I think is like worth having in a collection for me. Like it's good. It's a good game. I enjoy playing it. I will absolutely play it if you want to play it. Oftentimes I think it's worth teaching to other people. But like,
But you also don't love it.
yeah, I don't like love it. Like I would play Splendor over Wingspan, because for me, for whatever reason, like there's just, and I like Wormspan a lot more than I like Wingspan. Wormspan, I don't know what I get. I think I give. Did I give it an 8 in the video? I think I actually gave it a 9.
I can't remember.
I don't remember,
Yeah.
but like I think it's actually a 9. That's my, because like when we
The
talk
more
about the ratings
the more
change.
the
too.
more I've played it, the more it like keeps rising for me
Yes.
too. Yeah.
So like that's sometimes, and you have to take that into account too. Like that's why it's important for us to like just give you the information and know that sometimes our numbers fluctuate. 8 is something I'm gonna feel a little bit more excited about, and I'm like, I definitely like want that one in my collection. Like it leaves, if for it to be an 8, it's gotta leave that have to have that like slight more punch factor. 9 is like, I love this game, definitely want it, like should be in my collection, want to play with other people, but where I can see, like I can still see some of those like things that might like that keep it from being a 10.
And then a 10 is like a game that in your eyes you feel like is just a perfect game. You
Yes,
absolutely
like,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Just I love it. Like I feel like it just leaves me so excited, and like I just want to keep delving into it, and like let's just play it again and again and again. And
Yeah.
that has been, like I've said, Race for the Galaxy, learned that game 8 years ago, and it's still like, I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like it took me a while to learn it. I was just like, but it just like filled something in me.
Yeah, so I definitely feel that way about games. Around 5 is kind of where I start to actively like dislike something.
Yeah.
Around 5 is where I like, okay, like you said, like I would rather be playing something else. I see stuff about it that I personally really don't like. Like most of the games we review on the channel are between a 7 all the way up to a 10. Those
Yeah.
are the most. Those are kind of where the ratings kind of tend to fall.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I vet things before they even come on the channel. Like,
Yeah.
I go through and I'm like, okay, I only put games on my channel that I'm genuinely interested in. I've said that from the beginning. I will continue to say that. If I were to review every single game out there, there would be a ton
Yeah.
of games that are lower than a 5. Yeah, so coming back to like our ratings, yeah, most ratings kind of do fall between a 7 and a 10 because I already have an inherent interest in the game.
Yeah.
And reviewing games, it really does take so much time. It takes a lot of time to learn the games,
Yeah.
play the games enough that we feel like we have, a good handle on it. And so yeah, I mean, all that kind of goes into why we vet games.
We're board game enthusiasts. We're excited, and we want to like talk about the things in board game and share the things that make us like excited and happy about board games, and want to share that with you guys so that maximize fun, maximize enjoyment, maximize just like the joy that tabletop games can bring to like individuals and families and friends, and
Yeah.
So we talked about me and like what I kind of think of like as a 7, 8, 9, 10.
9, 10.
What for you?
Arnak. I love the Lost Ruins of Arnak. So the reason why I would rate that one a 10, and again, I was in between, for the longest time I was like, Arnak is a 9. I love it, it's a 9. But then I was like, if I really love it that much, why is it not a 10?
Yeah.
Like, why is Arnak not a 10 for me? And I couldn't think of a reason why.
Yeah.
So yeah, Arnak's a 10 for me. I think it's a game that I always want to play. It's a game that I love all the different mechanisms that it introduces. I love the gameplay. I love the artwork. I love the theme, the Indiana Jones going out and exploring. It just hits everything that like I want from a game, basically.
Yes.
It has worker placement. It has deck building. It has, resource management. It has the huge, beautiful table presence, the huge board, like literally everything that I want in a game. It's just like check, 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 check. I guess when I say Arnak, I mean specifically Arnak with the expansion in it that adds the variable player powers, so like you play as different characters. So that specifically is what I think. Because I think without that, Arnak would be a 9, but with that expansion that adds different player, it adds that little extra punch where it's like, okay, it's a 10 for me with that expansion. I'm very similar with you in regards to my feelings on the ranking system. What I do when I'm reviewing games is I review a game and give it a number based on the way that it's presented to me. So if it's a light game, I'm looking at it through the scope of, I'm comparing it to other light games. I'm not comparing it to big heavyweight games. That even though I might prefer heavyweight games more, that's not what like a light game is. It's meant to be a light kind of breezy game. I guess I just compare to similar weight classes, and I review it again in the light that it's presented and the way that it's presented to me. Like Everdell's like a medium weight game, so I'm approaching it and comparing it to other medium weight games that are in the industry at the time. That's kind of how I go about getting numbers, because I think it's unfair to try to compare stuff to other things that are like wildly different. So I try to kind of compare to similar items, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we should do lists like top 10 in each of like those categories.
Like top 10 like small games or like easy or like family weight games, top 10 heavyweight games, top 10. Yeah, because again that's how I rate games. That's how I review games. And when I'm coming down to a number, it's like, okay, like there's going to be a review coming out for like a little lightweight card game. I was like, okay, I'm not comparing this to Arnak, you know? Yeah. But I am comparing it to other lightweight card games, and how do I feel about it compared to other ones? So that's kind of where I primarily kind of get my numbers, is from that.
And I think that makes sense, and I think part of my, like I said, it's for whatever reason, like in my head, I'm like, can I give simple games such a high rating? But like I should do that in terms of like comparing where it actually falls. Yeah. Compared to like other games in that same kind of category.
I think it really helps nail down a number, because it kind of helps take your own personal bias out of it a little bit. Because again, us being gamers, we kind of tend to play heavier games. We tend to play games with a lot going on, and I prefer that. I think you prefer that too, over like a light game. But again, if a light game is brought to us, it's not saying that it's a heavyweight game, it's saying it's a light game. So we should be comparing it within the realm, like I said, within the scope that it's presented to us. All right, so having said all that, I do want to kind of, so something that I want to be starting, like moving forward with reviews, is in the description of all of our videos, I want to add like a little chart that talks about, kind of just like a little brief chart that kind of says what each little number means. Yeah. And I'm actually I decided, we kind of have been talking about this, on what each number. Oh, you're so sad. You want to go to Kim really quick?
Just see.
Really quick.
Not distracting Mama.
We kind of were discussing about like what our numbers meant, and I actually went to BGG to see exactly like what their numbers, like, because they have like their rating system, and they actually have a description for every single number. So I was like, oh, you know what, let's just go and kind of see what they did. And they actually lined up almost exactly with kind of what we were talking about. So I think I'm just going to adopt this and put it on the channel. But basically a 1 was like awful. I love the little thing. It says defies game description. So 1 is awful. 2 is very bad, won't play ever again. 3 is bad, likely won't play again. 4 is not so good, but could play again. 5 is mediocre, which makes sense because it's like, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. 6 is okay. 7 is good. So now we kind of start getting into like kind of actually having desire to play it. 8 is very good. Enjoy playing and would suggest it. 9 is excellent, and then 10 is outstanding. We'll always enjoy playing. So that is kind of the system that we're going to be going off of now. So now after we play games and we kind of get our thoughts, we're going to kind of refer to this list, and based on, you know, our feelings, that's where our ratings are going to be. So like I mentioned, that's going to be in the description of all of our reviews moving forward, just to kind of have that reference that you can kind of look back on if you kind of need more clarification about what our reviews or what our numbers kind of mean when we're giving ratings. Something else that we're going to be doing though, which is a brand new thing to the channel that I've been messing around with this idea for a little bit. I really wanted to do it, and finally I was like, you know what, let's just do it. So we were talking about games that we rate a 10. Games moving forward on the channel, games that we rate a 9 or above, we will be giving a special little like award over here on the channel for it. So it's going to be called the oh my goodness, what is it? The Queen Bee.
Queen Bee.
Oh my goodness, my mind's gone. My mind's gone. So it's the Queen Bee, the Board Game Buzz Queen Bee Award, which will be awarding to those games that we just feel like are particularly excellent. And so, yes, so moving forward, that's what we're going to be doing on the channel. And it'll be fun because, like Kim mentioned, at the end of every year, we can do a little video looking back on you know, the handful of games that we just thought were particularly excellent that year that we were able to play. So yes, that's something kind of a little fun thing that we're going to be adding to the channel, that we're going to be doing. I think it's just going to be a fun little touch. Little fun touch to the channel, I think.
I agree.
So, all right, so thank you for joining us for this kind of chaotic buzz chat episode, chatting about why we rank games. So I think it's a good one to have. I think it's a good thing to have on the channel, just kind of chatting about our reasoning behind ranking games, because again, every channel is different, so I think it's good to have kind of that perspective on how we are approaching our games, and kind of how we do that.
Yeah, and it allows you guys to get to know us a little bit more on a deeper level, and like the way we think about things and experience things. And you should definitely leave comments about
how you rank games. Yes, definitely leave a comment about how you rank games, and what game would be a 10 for you.
Yes.
Like
what's a 10 game?
What is a 10 game? What is in your eyes like a perfect idea of like a perfect game? So thanks so much for spending some time with us today. We hope you have a great rest of yours, and we will see you next time.